In the dead silence of winter, when the forest holds its breath and every drop of water turns to glass, something extraordinary happens beneath the fallen leaves. A small frog lies still, its heart stopped, its lungs frozen, its blood transformed into syrup. By every rule of life and death, it should be gone. Yet, when the snow melts and the air warms, this little creature takes a breath and hops away, as if nothing ever happened. How does a heart that hasn't beaten for months suddenly start again? How can a brain frozen solid remember how to live? For centuries, scientists and storytellers have asked the same question. Is this magic, or is it biology pushed to its limits? Today, we dive into one of nature's most breathtaking paradoxes. A creature that freezes to the edge of death, yet returns to life with the first kiss of spring. This is the story of the freezing frogs and the secret language between ice and life itself. But how can something frozen, with no pulse, no breath, no warmth, still be alive? Stay with me, because the answer begins long before the first snowflake touches the ground. When the heart stops, but life goes on. Deep in the northern forests, as temperatures drop below freezing, most creatures seek refuge, burrowing, migrating, or hiding from the deadly cold. But not the wood frog. Instead of running from winter, it faces it head-on. When the frost comes, this small amphibian simply lies down, lets its body stiffen, and allows nature to do the unthinkable. It freezes solid. As ice crystals form in its blood and organs, the frog's heart stops beating. Its lungs collapse. There's no movement, no breath, no sign of life. To any observer, it's a corpse. But what's truly happening is a biological masterpiece. A perfect, deliberate pause. The frog isn't dying. It's waiting. Weeks pass. Snow piles high. The world outside is silent. But within this frozen statue lies a secret. Every cell knows the plan. Its organs, though frozen, are protected. Its cells whisper to one another in chemical signals, saying, "Hold on, the sun will return." What looks like death is only sleep in disguise. But how does the frog know when to stop its heart? And how does it survive without a single drop of flowing blood? In the next chapter, we will uncover the secret chemistry that turns its body into a living antifreeze factory. How the body prepares for freezing. Long before the first snowflake hits the forest floor, the wood frog already knows what's coming. It feels the temperature drop, the shortening days, the silent warning of winter's breath. And so, nature's alchemist awakens within. In just hours, this tiny amphibian begins to transform, not by seeking warmth, but by preparing to embrace the ice itself. The frog's liver floods its body with glucose, a natural sugar that acts as biological antifreeze. This sugar seeps into every cell, preventing lethal ice crystals from forming inside. Meanwhile, its body increases levels of urea, another chemical that helps control how water freezes in and around its tissues. Together, these two compounds create a miracle mix, a natural cryoprotectant. Soon, the frog's heart slows, then stops completely. Its blood no longer flows, but its cells remain alive, suspended, preserved, waiting. Scientists call it freeze tolerance, but in truth, it's something closer to biological poetry. Every heartbeat is traded for a promise. When spring returns, so will I. But what happens next is even stranger. Inside the frog's frozen body, ice spreads everywhere, and yet it never kills. So, how does this creature survive being turned into solid ice? The answer lies in the microscopic world, where science meets the impossible. The science behind survival. If you could look inside a freezing frog under a microscope, what you'd see would defy logic. Ice crystals snake through its body, but they form only in the spaces between cells, never inside them. That's the secret. The frog's body carefully controls where ice is allowed to grow, turning itself into a living sculpture that's frozen on the outside, but alive within. The key lies in chemistry. Glucose and urea flood every cell, changing how water behaves. They lower the freezing point, stop sharp ice crystals from piercing the membranes, and even preserve proteins from damage. It's as if each cell is wrapped in a shield, a delicate armor made of sugar and patience. This isn't luck. It's nature's version of cryogenics perfected over millions of years. In this suspended state, time stops meaning anything. The frog's body can stay frozen for weeks, even months, with no heartbeat, no breath, no motion. Yet, once the ice melts, every system restarts on its own. Heartbeat, breathing, muscle control, all resume as if someone pressed play after the longest pause in the world. It's not just survival, it's resurrection. But what happens when the world finally warms and the ice begins to retreat? How does a creature that's been frozen solid for months simply wake up and leap into life again? That's the next chapter of this frozen miracle. The thaw of life. Spring arrives quietly. The sun climbs a little higher, the air softens, and beneath the melting snow, something ancient begins to stir. Ice liquefies. The ground breathes again. And there, under the leaves, the frozen frog awakens from its icy tomb. No rituals, no miracles, just a slow, steady return of warmth, and with it, life. Inside its tiny body, the magic begins. Blood starts to flow again. The heart contracts for the first time in months, and oxygen floods its lungs. One by one, the organs wake up, like a symphony tuning before the performance begins. The frog takes a breath, then another. Its eyes blink open, glassy but alive. What was frozen yesterday is moving today. And then the first leap. It's clumsy, uncertain, but it's proof that the impossible has happened again. The frog that was once an ice sculpture now hops toward the nearest pond, ready to mate, feed, and sing the song of survival. It's as if winter never existed. Nature simply paused the story and pressed play again. But one question still lingers. What happens to the brain during all this? How does a creature frozen for months remember how to live, how to be? In the next chapter, we will step inside the frozen mind. Memory and consciousness in the ice. Imagine this. Months without a heartbeat, without a breath, without a single electrical spark in your brain. And then, suddenly, you wake up. No confusion, no memory loss. You just go on living. That's exactly what happens to the wood frog. When it thaws, its brain simply starts again. No reboot, no repair, no visible trauma. Scientists call it neuroprotection. We might call it nature's reset button. How is that even possible? During freezing, the frog's brain cells stop communicating completely. But thanks to glucose and urea, they don't die. These molecules protect the brain's delicate wiring, preventing dehydration and cell rupture. When the thaw begins, signals return like light through an old radio warming up. Within hours, the frog regains full coordination, memory, and instinct, as if the cold never happened. This raises a haunting question. Could humans ever do the same? What if we could safely pause our bodies and minds, then awaken decades later unharmed? It sounds like science fiction, but the freezing frog is living proof that it's possible, at least in nature's language. The idea of cryogenic sleep, suspended animation, might not be so far away after all. Scientists are already trying to answer that question. Around the world, labs study freezing frogs in hopes of unlocking their biological secrets. Could their strange chemistry one day help save human lives? That's where our story turns from nature's wonder to human ambition. What science is learning from them. In laboratories across the world, scientists stare at freezing frogs not just with curiosity, but with envy. These tiny creatures have mastered what humanity has only dreamed of: surviving the impossible. Researchers study their blood chemistry, their glucose levels, even their genes, searching for the secret code that lets life endure beyond its limits. What they found could change the future of medicine forever. The wood FROGS biological antifreeze has inspired breakthroughs in cryobiology, the science of preserving cells, tissues, and even organs at freezing temperatures. If we can mimic their methods, doctors might one day store human hearts or kidneys for weeks without decay. Imagine emergency medicine, where distance and time no longer decide who lives. The frozen frog could rewrite the limits of life itself. And beyond medicine, there's something even more daring: the dream of cryogenic sleep. Inspired by the frog's natural freeze, scientists imagine a day when humans could travel through time, across galaxies, or into the far future by simply pressing pause. It sounds like science fiction, yet every spring, the wood frog proves it's already science fact. But nature never gives its gifts freely. Even miracles come with a price, and for the freezing frog, survival always flirts with tragedy. In the next chapter, we will explore the thin line between triumph and death. When ice wins over life. For all its brilliance, the freezing frog's gift is not invincible. Every winter, some don't wake up. Their bodies stay still long after the snow melts, victims of nature's cruel experiment. A few hours too cold, a single imbalance in chemistry, and the miracle collapses. In the battle between life and ice, even perfection can crack. Scientists believe that every freezing frog walks a razor's edge. If the ice forms too quickly, cells rupture. If it melts too fast, blood vessels burst. It's a choreography of death and survival, balanced molecule by molecule. The smallest mistake, a late freeze, a longer frost, and the body cannot recover. Nature offers no guarantees, only chances. Yet, maybe that's the point. The freezing frog reminds us that survival isn't about avoiding risk, it's about accepting it. To be alive means daring the cold, knowing it could take you at any moment. Every spring, those who return aren't just survivors. They are proof that life's greatest strength lies not in perfection, but in persistence. So, what does this fragile miracle teach us, beyond the science, beyond the wonder? What can a tiny frog, frozen and reborn, reveal about our own human journey? That answer lies in the final chapter, where ice turns to wisdom. The cold that reveals the strength of life. Every winter, the freezing frog surrenders itself to death, and every spring, it proves death wrong. It doesn't fight the cold, it becomes one with it. It doesn't resist time, it waits for time to change. Maybe that's what nature has been trying to tell us all along. Sometimes survival isn't about movement, but stillness. When life freezes, when everything seems paused, uncertain, or lost, maybe that's not the end. Maybe it's a hidden invitation to transform, to gather strength in silence, and to rise again when warmth returns. Like the wood frog, we too can endure our winters and still find the courage to breathe again. In a world obsessed with speed, the freezing frog whispers a different truth, that there's wisdom in waiting, beauty in endurance, and power in patience. Its story isn't just about survival. It's about faith, the kind that believes the ice will always melt, and that life, somehow, will always return. But what does this frozen miracle teach you? Because beyond the science lies the lesson of being alive. Conclusion. So, what did the freezing frog really show us? That even in the stillness of death, life is patient. That strength isn't loud, it's quiet, waiting beneath the frost. And maybe the truest form of courage isn't to fight the storm, but to trust that spring will come again. Every one of us faces winters, moments when everything slows, freezes, or seems lost. But like the wood frog, we carry the tools to endure: faith, adaptation, and the will to rise again. So, when life feels cold, remember, it's only preparing you to leap forward when the thaw begins. What did this animal teach you about life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your take on this frozen miracle. And if you enjoyed this journey into nature's secrets, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because next time, we will uncover another creature that defies everything we thought we knew about survival.